Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and so today I'm going to begin to put pockets into the pages and break these up into signatures, for at least temporary signatures. We'll see if it ends up being that way. Anyway, come along and journal with me today. Hi there, it's Pam with Jesus Junk Journals, and I'm working on the Prayer War Room Journal, and I started putting some things together, so I thought I'd better turn the camera on here and talk about it, what I'm doing anyway. So what I did is I took all the pieces and parts from the add-on kit and I divided them up into the pockets and the things that go in the pockets, because I'm going to put the pockets in. And so then I took my pages and I started to divide them into 3 signatures. And what I've decided to do, so this is what I think I'm going to do. I took a journal apart and took the pages out of it. And so I'm going to have a removable signature with just some journaling pages. And then I took these same journaling pages and kind of wove them into my signatures, because I feel like this prayer journal needs a lot of writing room, and for you to be able to put down what you have been praying about, so that you can then follow up later. And I did the, let me see what to do with it. I did the oh, here it is, as a separate item. I have this prayer, it's the War Room Folio, Prayer War Room Folio. And I finished this one up, and I used some distress inks on it. I think it was the Tumbled Glass and the Citron. For me, I like the way they looked with the blue-green of this. And I went ahead, I didn't give you the middle of this. I thought you could do that yourself. And so what I did so far is I stamped this and this, and then I just made a little pocket out of a piece of paper and put some of these journal papers that I cut down to fit into it. And so that's kind of how I did the inside of that, but it's up to you. And so to me, this is like a field notebook that you could go out, just like you take a sketch pad out if you go on a walk, but you go out to pray somewhere, and you can take this with you and sit on a park bench or on a rock out in the woods, and you can open it up and you'll have your Post-its or things here. And, if you want to put different things, like I know we should pray every day for our government, but sometimes I just haven't found the time to do that. But like I might put Thursday, pray for the government. Tuesday, whatever other thing. Because the truth is, most of us don't take the time to pray. We should spend an hour or 2 or 4 or 5 in prayer. But if we're going to spend half an hour, we're probably not going to hit everything in the whole world that we need to be praying about. So because of that, that's why I put these days of the week, so you could break it up, and so at least you're going to not forget to pray for certain things that we're supposed to pray for. And then, focus for today. Those are things that maybe you got an email last night that somebody in the church is sick. You could stick it in there. Just stick a piece of paper in there, poke it in, and then the next day when you take this out and go where you're going to pray, you can just open it back up and like, okay, oh yeah, so-and-so was sick, I need to pray for them. Or so-and-so is going in for an operation, or somebody's child is, run away and we need to pray for that. Those kind of things you can poke in and make sure you get those done. And then there's a prayer log for you to write down what you prayed for and your answer. And I have to say that I don't do this, but I want to do this. And I have been wanting to do that for many years, because I remember this one church we went to. It was a great big church. And this little old man walked around in the lobby, and he had this spiral notebook, and he had a pen. And he walked up, and he would ask you, like, what do you need to, what would you like me to pray for you? And he was real sweet. And, you know, you're standing there, let's see, well, you know, and you come up with something. And he would take his little spiral notebook, and he would write it down, and he'd date it. And then he had the answers written down to, you know, all these prayers that he prayed all the time. And I just thought, well, that is, for me at least, a different idea, because I think a lot of us pray, but we don't really expect God to answer. I mean, we'll know down the road, like if you prayed for, you know, a house and you got it, you know, God answered that prayer, that kind of thing. But we don't really take the time to write it down, and that way you can go back. And there have been so many small things, so I do try to go back when something happens and document it, but so many times it gets away from me. And so I think it would be good if we could do this, where you write it down when you ask, and then you go back and look and like, oh, he answered that, oh, he answered that. So it's just a small one, but it's an idea that maybe you could develop into a whole journal in itself, if it works out for you. So anyway, this is separate, and I don't really see that this needs to go into the journal. But the idea of it could go into the journal, which is why I did these little headings. Because what I was thinking is you could put tabs in on your pages, and they could be cloth. Like, let's say you do a strip of velvet and pleat it, sew it on the edge. You can take your Fabri-Tac and cut out like immediate need. Maybe you put it on that one, or, you know, here's answers and requests, kind of the idea of that one that I just talked about. Those in authority over me, you know, maybe that's a page, because we're supposed to pray for those in authority over us, or acquaintances or grandchildren. So there, I tried to think of every possible thing you might want a page for. And so that's what those are for, if you want to like really designate in here what is what. And I have a feeling I'll make more than one of these, so I don't know that I'm going to get it right the first time exactly the way I want it, but I'm going to go ahead and just dive into this one. So I've got all my pages, the backs of them done, either stamped or this inking, or, you know, whatever I'm going to do on it. I also got some, let me get it and tell you about it. So this is, and I have a video demonstrating using this heat and bond, but the one I used was the heavy duty. And after I bought the heavy duty, my sister said, you did get the light, right? You want the purple package, the lightweight. And so I thought, oh, and it does make a difference, because the one I have is super heavy and the page is really thick, and it's not the way you want it. So I thought, all right, fine. So I finally went ahead and bought some of this, and it's the real lightweight. And so it's basically glue that you can glue two fabrics together with your iron. And so I did that, and I don't know where I was when they announced that Tim Holtz makes fabric, but I did not know he made fabric. And I feel kind of stupid, because I'm sure you all know it, but I did not know it. But as soon as I found out, I got me some. And so what I did was I cut them out the size of my pages, some of them. And so I used this heat and bond, and glued two of them together, the size of a page. And so I did several of those. That's my favorite one, the ones with the bugs on it. And then this was some fabric that I had that I liked, so I did that together. So when I put it in my albums, I'll trim it out and fray the edges. And this is some more Tim Holtz fabric, and I got 4 of them. There's the other one. So I went ahead and did several of these, and I'll have them on hand to add to my journals because I like to have at least one fabric page in each journal. Just, I don't know why, just because. And so I did those. And then I had some other fabric that I had cut up. And it's a piece of this green that I've had for years and years and years with this ribbon stitched to it. And so I cut two pages of that. So I used one in this signature. So I just started to divide them up. And then after I like I said, I sprinkled in these extra journal pages in between some of the pages. So then I started to put in the pockets. So this is the pocket that we put together on one of the other journals. I mean, one of the other videos. And so this was a messed up page and I need to cover it up. So I thought, well, that's a perfect place for that. So I just started to kind of insert some pockets. And so now what I'm going to do is go back and glue them with my fabric or with my glitter glue. And I think that what I'll do is maybe come back and stitch them with my sewing machine after I get them where they belong. But that way they won't be falling out. And I made the mistake of opening this a minute ago, and then I started talking. But I'm just going to go ahead and start to glue those in. And I didn't really have a big plan of where they went. I just kind of went by the seat of my pants. I really like this page, An Appeal to Heaven. And so I don't think I've talked about this before, but I recently found out that George Washington had a flag made, and on it is an evergreen tree, and it says An Appeal to Heaven. And it was when they were asking God to help them, which, you know, we don't hear about that in our history classes, but it's come back up at this last few months with what's going on, and people are flying the flag that says An Appeal to Heaven. So I just thought it was a nice saying to kind of commemorate in here. And let's see, God laughs. Also, I don't think I commented on this, but you know, God laughs. This is referring, there's a couple of places where he laughs. He's not laughing because he's happy. It's not a happy scripture. He's laughing at the foolish people who think that they're going to outdo him, that they're going to beat him. And so that is just, to me, a good reminder that we don't have to worry about anything. He laughs in derision at these people who think that they're going to go around him or outdo him or outsmart him. I find that encouraging. So, some more stamping, which I think goes with that fabric. And he makes crooked places straight. And then this is a little, like a little tuck-in pocket place that I'm going to stitch over here on the side. So I think I'll go ahead and put a little bit of Fabri-Tac. Not Fabri-Tac. Glitter glue. Keep saying Fabri-Tac. And then this, I think I talked about in one of the other videos, but it was a crocheted potholder that I got at a flea market, and I cut it apart because it was 2 layers. So I already glued this one on. So I thought that was kind of a cool pocket. And this pocket, this seemed a little chaotic. So I thought that I would calm it down by putting this pocket on. So that's, oh, and then, okay, he is for you. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then I have this edge pocket situation here that we worked on another video where I stitched it. And so I thought this would be a good page to put it on. It's another page I kind of messed up on. I had to reprint it. And so I'm going to, that needs to be stitched. So I'm just going to put a paper clip on it for now to hold it. So that's one signature at this point, if it ends up being that way. This is actually probably it'll be the first one because it's got the title page that I made. I glued it. So this is one of my fabric pages that I did. And so I did a zigzag stitch and did some of this edging that I got from Hobby Lobby. And so I just used Fabri-Tac and glued this title page thing on the front of it. I put Get Ready on there. That's in the kit. And I'm gonna sew, no, this is, I think, for this page. I'm gonna put that over there. So I need to glue it. So Wild and Crazy decoupage. So again, I thought I would quiet it down with this pocket. So I'll glue that on. And I may even go back with some gesso and go over it to kind of quiet it down too, because it's pretty loud. Pretty loud. Here's another one of these edge pockets. And I thought that would look nice on this. It's got some of the blue in that from that ink I did the other day. And then I've got I got that ink over that. I wish I had not, but it says Prayer Warrior, and that's one of my favorite pages. And then here's some of that. And then I've got this pocket here, which I guess is fine. He is with you. And I've got these strips like that are belly bands that I can put into somewhere. Still have a couple pockets left, which I've got two that have two turquoise. That one, oh, I think I'll leave it alone. I kind of don't want to hide the message on some of these pages, so I'll leave that. Here's the pocket I sewed earlier. And actually, this could probably take a pocket here. So I'll do that. And I already stitched that, so I don't think I'm going to take it back out and stitch it again. So I'll just use glue on this one. This one has, I put this belly band here. So I'll go ahead and glue it. I'll probably stitch that too though. But that way it'll be where I want it. This might be a good place for a pocket. The battle is the Lord's. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Some more decoupage. Actually, let's see. That might look nice on that page. So I'm going to do some more pockets out of fabric. And lace and so on. But this is kind of the preliminary. Fight the good fight of faith. Some more writing. This is artwork of Joan of Arc, by the way, that I found, that I collaged onto this. And then I did this the other day where I used the little cutouts that I got at the Dollar Tree store and glued them onto the pocket. He is with you. I don't want to mess that up. I want to keep that. But there's a room for a pocket on there. Victory. Wild and crazy. Believe. And there's that one. So that's that so far. We'll see if it ends up being that way. And then this one. So put a paper doily in. Here's another chipboard thing I did the other day was with the half of a lace handkerchief. Did that in another video. Here's the Waymaker. And here's a pocket for this one. This is that 3-tier pocket that is going to need to be stitched in. So it goes like that. I'll go ahead and glue it just so it's in place. This one I always glue the bottom of anyway, so it has a stopping point on that top pocket. So I'm just going to do the sides on this one. And I always like my points to overlap completely when I do this pocket. So I'm going to let it go over that. And then this was just a page that I had cut up, and I kind of did that same 4-pocket thing I did in the other part of the journal, only a big piece. Some more journaling. Here's the other fabric page that I told you about. And leaning on the everlasting arms. There's another pocket to glue in. And I'll probably go back and sew that one more. And then I put quite a bit of journaling on the middle of this one. And then I thought this would be a good place to put that. With prayer and fasting. And there's that flag I was talking about, an appeal to heaven. And the other side of that page, journaling, the other side of that page. And I didn't like this at all. I thought it was kind of ugly. So I had this in my add-on kit. This was another piece of artwork from 18 something or other. But this is supposed to be Joan of Arc. But I just thought it was, you know, when we're in a spiritual battle, she seems to be listening, you know. So I put the word listen up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. I stamped it because I thought I might make it a card that could come in and out, but I'd rather cover this page up. Oop. How great thou art. That hanky pocket. The other side of the doily. God is not late. And then this pocket that I had glued in. Okay, so that is sort of a preliminary on putting pockets in. So the next thing I'm going to do is go stitch some of these in on the sewing machine. And then we'll go on and see what other things we can do to make this interesting. Thanks for watching. I would love for you to subscribe, hit the like button if you like the video, and see me in the next video. Bye.